Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play for Age of Wonders 4! A couple of disclaimers right off the bat. This is a pre-release build. Lots of things may be different from between this version and when you actually get to play. There might be some bugs, etc, etc, etc. The other thing is, while this Let's Play is not sponsored, I will be doing some sponsored Let's Plays for this game. Actually, from you guys' point of view, I have already done in fact, 3 sponsored streams for Age of Wonders 4, which may mean there may be some things that I have learned during those streams that won't be applied here because I'm recording this ahead of time, because scheduling is weird, embargoes are funny, all these kind of things. I'm actually going to be out of the country when the embargo for Age of Wonders 4 lifts, so I got to make sure to pre-record some stuff. The other thing here is our live stream race is going to be a race of very industrious dwarves, so I'm taking a very different direction for this particular Let's Play. We are going to be playing as Petra Spellmancer of the Elves, the Astral Elves. So I made a custom species. We're playing on the default custom map. So I'm making a custom map with all the settings in vanilla. And then we've made these Astral Elves over here. Starting with the Tome of Evocation, we are going to be very magic focused. As we're playing Elfkin with actually the basic Elfkin traits. I didn't actually modify those. So we're keen-sighted, which gives us bonus accuracy to physical ranged and magic attacks. And I'm specifically going to be focusing on building armies around magic attacks, not physical range. So not archers, but magic casters, especially since we also have arcane focus here, which means magic attacks deal bonus damage. In addition to that, I'm using a trait that I have unlocked because I've unlocked just a little bit of Pantheon stuff. When you beat Age of Wonders 4, you have the option of ascending your ruler to a Pantheon of Gods, which unlocks Pantheon points, which lets you unlock mostly cosmetics, but also some additional traits. And so we're going to grab Mana Addict here, which is kind of funky. First of all, at the start of the game, we are going to start with an extra Battle Mage unit or support unit. That's cool. I mean, everyone starts with the same number of units, but presumably this is going to be replacing a regular melee unit or maybe a basic archer or something like that. Our Battle Mage units and support units start at +1 rank, which is going to be great, because these tend to have magic attacks, so it's very synergistic, I guess is the word I'm looking for, with our arcane focus and keen-sighted. But we do have a funky thing with our mana addiction here. So all of our units are going to have mana addicted. So if at the end of a combat turn I didn't cast a spell, all my units are going to lose 5 points of morale, which is bad. Morale is very important in this game. Do we get it here? Yeah, so you can see here, high morale increases critical hit chance, low morale increases fumble chance, and then very low morale is further increases it and might lead to our units deciding to run away. So morale is actually very important in this game. But perhaps more importantly, I mean, a 5-point morale hit isn't the end of the world. If we stack this for a few rounds, it'll be bad. But the big thing is, actually, when we do cast a spell in combat, this unit gains lifesteal for the turn. So when we attack, we gain hit points. So our units will be healing as long as we've cast a spell that combat turn, which is going to be wonderful. I have paired this with Gifted Casters, which gives us mostly the combat casting points is what I'm interested in, so we can cast more spells in combat to make sure we can cast one every single round, and actually our combat spells are even cheaper. We also start with a combat spell unlocked, which is going to be Groovular. Oh yeah, and we've got Mystic over here. We got some structures with mana income. Our units have attunement Starblade. Every time when we cast a spell in combat, we gain a charge of Starblades. It can stack up to 3 times, and it just makes our units deal bonus damage of some kind of element. It randomly chooses the element, but we get +1 damage for every stack in here, and it lasts for 3 turns and stacks up to 3 times. So as long as we keep casting spells, we are going to be stacking on Starblades over here, and our units are going to have lifesteal, which is going to be great. We also have Astral Echoes over here. These are pickups only visible to and collectible by rulers of the Mystic Culture. So Astral Echoes give us knowledge or mana on pickups. So presumably these are things we're going to find on the world map. It'll be interesting. I wonder if it's this. We'll see what that is in just a second. Yeah, we got that. Our starting spells. So normally I believe you start with 2 spells. We're going to start with a bonus combat one. Magic Shield is a defensive buff, which gives the unit that we shield 2 stacks of bolster defense, so that's 2 extra defense, and 2 extra resistance. Cosmic Ablation. Oh yeah, this spell deals 10 damage of each element, so 30 damage total. And Fulmination is an AoE, so it's enemy units in a 1 hex radius. They all take lightning damage, so less than Cosmic Ablation, but it does deal it to a group of enemies, and they have a 60% chance of becoming electrified, which will cause them to take 8 lightning damage each turn. I think by default, most of these buff effects and debuff effects last for 3 rounds, so presumably for the next 3 rounds, which 3 rounds in combat is actually a pretty long time. Most likely the combat's going to be done, or at least decided, by the time that ends. So pretty good effect, especially with the AoE. So our capital here is Primo Nebula. I kind of like that name. I mean, we can rename our cities, but Primo Nebula is a good name. Astral Elves, I did name us like that, which seems fine. Okay, so we got our starting city over here. Currently, we've got 1 population. That's what the one over here is. 1 population, so we're just working the 1 province. Our population is going to grow in 3 turns, and if we want to start, we can start spending Imperium as well to increase our population a little bit faster, and I'm likely going to do that a lot. I'm a big fan of increasing population. I don't know what the best thing to save up or maximize your Imperium is, right? So with Imperium, we can use this to unlock, oh, I guess I can't even click this button yet. We gotta wait 2 turns before this button goes live. But we can unlock Empire Development. We can also use Imperium to create new cities. We can use it to make independent free cities like us more. We can use it to annex and integrate those independent free cities. So there's a lot of really powerful things. You're always gonna want more Imperium. There's not a tons of ways to get it. In your capital, I guess it has to wait. I think once we build the Mage's Plaza, might have to go a few more levels than that. At some point in our capital here, we will gain access to the ability to start building our Mage Tower. I don't know what actually unlocks that ability. That will be one way to get a little bit more Imperium per turn, but it's never going to come fast and furious. It's sort of it's meant to be kind of a slow and steady rate for that kind of thing because it affects the speed at which basically everything else happens. All right, let's queue up. I'm a big fan of getting some early food growth, increase the rate at which our population grows so that we can annex more adjacent provinces. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the storehouse over here. I like that. And in terms of units over here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple more of our scouts. Now, with our species, our scout is Mystic Projection, which is really cool. They come with Farsight, +1 vision. They can pass through obstacles. They are ethereal, so yeah, they have to pass through and they're immune to stuff. Are they floating? Yeah, moves through any type of terrain and movement cost of 5, apart from mountains, which cost 8. But we can go through everything. We can't do seafaring until we get that tech, but fair enough. Okay. Yeah, scout units aren't very good for combat, but I want to go and reveal more of the map. So I'm going to queue up a couple of those. That's going to be groovy. There are 2 production queues in Age of Wonders 4. The one for buildings uses what's called production, and the one for units uses what's called draft. So we use production to build buildings. We use draft to recruit units. All right. Now, we do have 1 scout unit over here. And again, the scouts aren't terribly good at combat, but I'm going to have them go and help out with this combat. You can have multiple armies participate in the battle. You can see here when I mouse over from my main army of Petra over here onto these enemies, it's also highlighting the banner for the scouts, so they'll participate in there. I could have just brought it into the army, but I'm going to want you separate. Also, we take a look at Petra over here. So I'm going to be using Petra as a spellcasting hero rather than a combat one because my dwarfy run is using a combat champion. We did start with the Staff of Spirit, so it's a 2-handed weapon that hits for some magic damage. I think that's generic magic damage over here is what this means, so untyped. And it has a 90% chance of blinding the hit target. Now, this 90% chance will be modified by their resistance. I believe it will be their resistance that modifies that, or maybe it's the status resistance, actually. It's probably the status resistance. Never mind. Resistance, so defense defends you against physical attacks. Resistance defends you against non-physical damage. So defense and resistance work exactly the same in terms of mitigating damage. And then, yeah, this is what determines the reduction of chance of a status. So we're not actually going to have a 90% chance to blind people because it's going to get modified by whatever. I should address here the defense and resistance. The way they work is every point of defense reduces the damage you're about to take by 10%. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have 10 points of defense, you take 0 physical damage, because it's multiplicative. Really, it's 0.9 to the power of your defense is the reduction. So if you go from 0 defense to 1 defense, then you'll take 10% less. If you go from 1 to 2, that second point is going to reduce incoming damage by 0.9 points. And the third point is going to reduce it by 0.81. Do not let that make you think that defense has diminishing returns. That's, I think, the wrong way to think about it. From an absolute raw damage point of view, yes, each point of defense does less. But from the point of view of the damage you're actually going to take, regardless of how much defense you have, whatever damage you're about to take after your current defense is applied, if you get another point of defense, it's going to take another 10% off of it. Or another way to think about it is it's almost like, math doesn't work out exactly like this way, but it's almost like every point of defense is the same as gaining 10% more hit points, because you're just becoming harder and harder to kill. At about 7 defense, you take half damage, and at about 13, it's being reduced by another half. So you're only taking quarter damage, which means even though the difference from 7 to 13 is only 25% more absolute damage, it's effectively the same as like going from double hit points to quadruple hit points. Anyway, just a little rant there because some people have expressed different opinions in the past about that, and I think they're wrong. I think stacking unlimited defense is always valuable, with the exception that sometimes it's better to, kill things faster than just tank better. Anyway, with that in mind, let's go into our first fight. It is a safe battle. I am a big fan of using the auto combat in this game. It does seem to do the right thing most of the time, and if you're unhappy with the results, you can do a retry and then do the fight manually as well. But for the purpose of the video, I think a lot of people want to see the fight. For the interest of time, I will probably still usually not micromanage my individual units. There's still an automated combat mode over here, but at least we get to see it as it goes. You can't normally cast spells in the first round of combat. What I'm going to do for the first round of combat, actually, is I'm going to put fast speed. I'm just going to hit this, let my units move forward, and then once the enemy's turn, I'm going to turn it off. Now we're ready to go again. So now I can cast spells, and I would like to start getting some buffs on my units, because my units... Now, I don't mean buffing them with Magic Shield, I mean buffing it because of my mana addicts and things. I think I'm going to do a fulmination here, because if I do this, I can hit 3 units. That sounds like a pretty good number. And if we get lucky, 2 of them have been electrified. So if we take a look over here at this Pursuer, they are electrified for the next 3 turns. They will take 8 lightning damage extra, which sounds great. And all my units now have their lifesteal, and they're not going to get a morale hit from their mana addict thing. There's my hero running forward, engaging. I've got a support unit here dropping some heals on my halberdier. And there we go, lots of range damage coming as well. There's the scout helping out. Let me go and toggle this off. I like doing this a lot. A lot of times I don't want to bother moving all my units. I really like playing this sort of general that like kind of vaguely tells my units what to do, but then I want them to do their own thing. That makes me feel really happy. I like a lot of games where combat is more of a high level thing, right? Like, Age of Wonders 4 is being published by Paradox. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Paradox Grand Strategy games, and a big part of it is like in EU4, I just want to make a stack of 100,000 troops and sort of vaguely wave in a direction and say, go kill those guys over there. That I like. But I do like being in the manual combat mode and then using the automatic stuff. And especially at the start of each round, evaluating, should I pull someone back? Where do I want to use my spells? Because if you just put on auto, the AI will use your spells as well, which sometimes is great, but sometimes it's like, you know what? I'd rather do this myself. I think what's going to happen here... How many hit points do you still have? 22 plus 6. What is a plus 6 from? Oh, you have some regen. Because I could finish you off with Cosmic Ablation, which apparently is going to predict to do a full 30. Some of these things might have different resistances. Oh, over here, it's predicted to do 27. But maybe I'll outright kill you. Sure. Important thing was to cast and spell, right? Again, to give all my units their full buffs. If we take a look over here at what's going on, yeah, you got your Star Blades going on, which is great. So yeah, now you can probably go and kill things. Also, this unit has lifesteal now, so if it attacks, it will do that. Now, these are all temporary hit points, including these heal spells. That's why it's got the little hatch display over there. As far as I can tell, all combat healing only leads to temporary hit points. And I suspect, I haven't actually talked to the developers about this, but I suspect the reason is to prevent a sort of snowballing that can happen with factions that have healing versus not. Because now we still have to sort of rest in between combat to recover our strength. We can't just go. But we still get the benefit of healing in battle to stop units from dying in the first place. So I suspect that's the logic there. And I suspect it actually leads to goodness. We can watch the replay of the battle, but there's no need to do that. You guys can rewind if you want to. And the battle has been won. So, quick little early battle. Good to go. Oh, I wanted to check this knowledge stash. So no, that is not one of our unique mysticky things. And we got a treasure chest over here as well. And I think that's probably Free City. Now, they're quite close to us. We could start wars, but we'll probably just try to make friends with them. Okay, you pop over here. Oh, yeah, so we met this Free City of Mulmuck. Oh, there are goblins. Well met, Petra. We necrotic goblins of Mulmuck have heard many stories about the torment of shadows you went through and the power you wield. We hate to imagine what you forsook. To earn it. Hopefully, you will curb any potential power-hungry Yeah. Yes. Oh, you're right. I won't be power-hungry at all. I promise. So yeah, let me look upon you. So you're evil. Currently, we do have a relationship of -100. There's no reason not to give you a Whispering Stone. So allegiance, if we give you a Whispering Stone, your allegiance will grow over time. So you can see here, it's got the base value of 2. And we could even boost it if we want to spend Imperium on that. And then as we go through these levels, so currently we are in neutral. Next up will be Pact of Cooperation, predicted to happen 6 turns. Finally, Pact of Loyalty, and we can get a full vassalage, at which point we can also integrate these cities into our empire, although we do have a city limit over here, currently at 3. We can raise this, although not by a tremendous amount. Oh wait, that was you discovering these guys. Now come over here, pick up the stash of knowledge, 40 knowledge. That's not bad, because our knowledge is currently 60 per turn currently. And we're gonna want to check this treasure, but we'll need one more turn to be able to get there. All right, set arcane research. So when we research, we've got a list of 3 options. Some of these are general spells. So Wayfinder enchantment over here, you can see it says general research. Everyone will have access to these. These make our scoots more scooty, so they move faster. Scroll of Attunement is interesting. So my Attunement Starblades right now is automatically being applied to all the units of my my Astral Elves. But I might, depending on how things go, I might get cities of different races, in which case they wouldn't get Starblades. So Scroll of Attunement here makes it so that all my non-mystic units will also get the Starblades ability over here. You can see here, this actually tells you how many units it currently affects, which is 0. I mean, it's all these classes of units, but there's no number next to it. If we look at Wayfinder enchantment, it only affects scouts, but we can see we do in fact have 1 scout in our army. So right now, Scroll of Attunement wouldn't do anything for us, so who cares? Lightning Torrent. This is interesting because this is a world map spell. It's not a combat spell. We zap an entire army on the world map, and all those units suffer lightning damage, and they get a penalty to their lightning resistance for 1 world turn, which we're going to have a lot of lightning spells that we're going to be hitting people with. It is nice to have your scouts move around a little faster. And it does research a little faster, which is nice. Every 4 times you research something, you get to pick a new tome as well. So generally speaking, I do go for the cheaper ones. I don't know how much I care about the Wayfinder enchantment. I might just go immediately for the Lightning Torrent. Whether or not we'll use it will depend a little bit on what foes are there, but so in 6 turns we'll have that spell. I don't actually have any strategic spells I can cast on this character. I only have tactical, only combat type spells in the list. So there's nothing to do there. Primo Nebula still working in its storehouse. Couple more scoots. All right, let's go. Turn 2. It only took us 18 minutes to get to turn 2 in the game. It's a new world record for me. So yeah, you're still injured, but you can go and loot whatever this is. Barbed Shield. So we currently only have the 1 hero, which is Petra, and she's currently wielding a Staff of the Spirit, which is a 2-handed staff. I know it doesn't say 2-handed, but anywhere as far as I know. But it disables the secondary weapon slot as well as the mount. So I can't have anything in my offhand, so I can't wield this Barbed Shield, nor can I equip a mount. If I go and unequip this, then all of a sudden I can equip a weapon in the offhand. We do actually start with this free Gondor shield for everyone, but I could replace it with the Barbed Shield. But then, I mean, she does look really cool. Very sort of like, I don't know, either like maybe like Greek Athena or maybe like a Viking like shield maiden kind of vibe going on here. Very cool looking. But I think I'm going to stay with the 2-handed. This is a ranged magic attack thing. This is kind of the vibe I'm going with this character. Hopefully we can recruit like a melee hero as well, maybe for our next army, and then we'll have someone for various things. And we'll try to keep them on a 1-hander with an off-hander and a mount, and then we'll make use of those things. But for now, that's going to be okay. I could sell the shield for a few extra bucks, but I'll hold on to it for now. Well, we've got something we can boop over here, so let's move in that direction. And as for you, I might just put you on auto explore. We do have a cave to the underground here. Yeah, you know what? You can just be on auto explore, that's fine. So they'll go and loot undefended piles of good stuff. All very handy. As for you, it'd be nice to have a full army. It'd also be nice if this guy was fully healed. Although the nice thing is, our support character here does have Soothing Breezes, which heals the unit, and another one. And my hero does also have Restore. So we're going to be able to load this guy up with temporary HP at the start of the fight. Oh, we actually can't the other this turn anyway, so cool. Okay, let's take a look. Now, this is unlocked, the Empire Development screen. Because of my racial setup, I have 6 Empire Astral Affinity. So every turn, I accrue 6 of these points. I've currently reached 12 points in total. And that means I can start getting phone calls. Where the hell is my phone? Hang on. There we go. Sorry about that. Very annoying. There you go. Let me get rid of this. Where was it? Yes. Goddamn phone calls. Who calls people? Just text, for crying out loud. We have Astral Affinities. We're getting 6 points per turn. We've accumulated 12. So we'll be able to spend that on the Astral branch of Affinities. But there's also the General branch over here that everyone has access to. It doesn't matter what kind of points you're earning, it will accrue over here. And this will give you the ability to do basic seafaring, dig sites on the ground, build roads, get another Whispering Stone so that you can negotiate with 2 free cities at a time. Vision, Force March, +1 siege projects. This is good when you're taking over cities. And then over here, teleporter province improvements. You'll notice some things are on the opposite side of this line. These tends to be one-time bonuses. So, or actually, sorry, this one is repeatable. I didn't realize this one was repeatable. So this one here increases your city cap by 1. So apparently you can keep hitting this button over and over, assuming you've got enough Imperium to be able to increase the number of cities. So currently we've got a cap of 3. I believe Order might get a city booster as well. I thought maybe, or maybe I'm just thinking of the Whispering Stone. That might be it. So yeah, so if you want to play wider, then you're gonna have to invest in a bunch of these bad boys. So for now, this first level of our affinity gives us more combat casting points or world casting points. So that's not more mana, that's just the ability to channel more in a turn. I don't think I need this right away. So I'm not gonna spend, because what I wanna do is I want to, well, first of all, this costs Imperium to do. Well, basically that's entirely it, because we don't actually expend the affinity. But what I kind of want to do is wait until I've got at least 20 affinity and then spend my Imperium on Astral Inspiration. So whenever I research a skill, another skill is reduced by 25%. So we can research things a little bit faster, and that's going to be okay. All right, let's attack over here. So sometimes when we're powerful enough, I think that's the big thing, is when we're powerful enough, the enemies guarding these sites want to run away. So most of them try to hide while others huddle on the ground. They seem to be begging for mercy through panic hisses and cries. We could still attack him, which would give me some experience points, even though we know it's an easy fight, but it would make me slightly evil. Maybe that's what we want. But if we let them go, we'll get some good alignment. The advantage of being good is we actually get a buff to our relationship with all the free cities, and we also tend to get more positive events. The evil things tend to be greedier. And so even if we're going kind of mostly good, we might do an evil thing from time to time. Declaring wars and things like that can sometimes be evil, depending on justifications and stuff. So it's nice to have a good buffer. Where am I going to send this army? I don't know, but you know what I am going to do? Let's sit over here. It is going to grow in 1 turn, but I'm going to accelerate it. So you can spend Imperium to grow your city, and the cost is based on how long until the next growth. So it's quite cheap to go and just accelerate this by 1 turn. And then we get to annex another province over here. Part of me is wondering about annexing here. Jeez, do I just declare war on these guys and then raise the city to get out of the way? It is kind of inconvenient. Even if I were to make friends with them and even annex them later on, this placement is really awkward. So maybe. Let's talk about priorities here. So depending on what the province is, you can build different improvements when you annex them. So we got farms, which farms always give you 5 food. I mean, you can get lots of traits that change that, but farms give you 5 food. Quarry gives you 5 production, which means you build buildings faster. Lumber yards, there's one over there, actually gives you a mix of food and production. Ignore the gold for a second. And then mines give you 5 gold. Now, in addition to that, the provinces you annex might have some sort of trait. For example, this province here has iron deposits, which means it'll give us plus 10 draft. That means we recruit units faster. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these we build, we get the advantage of the iron deposits. So I still get to choose if I want the farm for the food, the quarry for the production, or the mine for the gold. Now, some provinces will have, and you notice the icons are bigger over here. All 3 of these provinces have a special trait that make them more appealing to annex than these over here. Some provinces will have a trait that specifically boosts something. In particular, the thing that I've run into the most is rivers that give farms plus 2 food, which means that farms on rivers give 7 food. So if there was a river over here, the farm icon would be bigger than the quarry icon, for example. I do tend to like getting some early food because more food equals more population growth equals annexing more things. I will say this, over the course of the game, I find that the biggest restrictions tends to be your money situation and your mana situation. Money mana. So if you can build a mine, I'm going to suggest that's often going to be incredibly appealing because the mines give you money, which turns out to be good. It doesn't matter like how much production you have, therefore how quickly you can build buildings if you don't have the money to purchase the buildings in the first place, right? So I really think that money is very, very, very important in this game. In addition to that, some buildings require certain types of province annexations to exist. Like some things you can't build until you have, say, a lumber mill, or a forester rather. Until you have a forester, you can't build it at all. In addition to that, some things get a boost. Like a shrine, if we have a quarry, then we can build a shrine at a discount. For the library, it's a forester. For the granary, it's 2 foresters. The evocator's abode, which I believe is a building specifically for me as a mystic maybe, requires a farm for the boost, which just gives a discount over here. This storehouse would get boosted with a forester, for example. I think what I'm going to do, because I think I will be building mines in those 2, but I think I'm going to grab this terrain first and specifically build a farm. It's got a pasture for more food. What I want is maximum growth for my city. So we'll do that. I mean, I could just build the forester. I'd still get the 10 food from the pasture. Hold on, maybe I do that. Because currently, well, I could build a forester here, but I'm going to want to build a mine. So I'm not going to do that. Maybe I will build the forester because I've got lots of places where I can build farms. And the forester still gives us some food as well. It gets 2 food, 3 production. Okay, let's do that. Now, I don't know if that's retroactively changing the cost of the storehouse or not, but we'll see. I guess I'm just going to send you east just to see what you can see. We clearly do need more scouts. Oh, speaking of, one just got built and another one's coming in there. I could have hurried production as well, but I'm going to send you north and then you'll be automated. There we go. Something like that. That feels pretty good. Now, again, I'm really going to want... Oh, perfect. I want Astral Inspiration. So now we're going to research things that much faster. And yeah, we've also potentially got the ability to get seafaring, although we're not near sea currently, so I'm not going to worry about that. I really think increasing our population quickly is valuable. We are going to want this to be able to set up new cities, though. Maybe I'll try to bank Imperium now to be able to afford a second city, which is going to mean, I think, 200? Yeah. I think the cost goes up based on how many cities you've got. Low risk battle. I mean, we're still slightly damaged. I would still like another unit. I'm still slightly damaged, although we do have some heals. Oh, what do we have here? There's an Astral Echo! Okay. See, luckily my scouts are going to pick that up for me, generally, because I am not good at spotting things. That gave us 33 knowledge. So yeah, based on the description, it said it's going to be randomly either knowledge or mana. Alright, we'll just wait here. You'll get a little more heals. Oh, we finished Lightning Torrent skill. So I can now blast things on the world map. This does give us a unit we could summon. And what's nice is you can summon it anywhere you've got, like, well, anywhere I think you've got vision, including, like, your existing armies and stuff. These spirits aren't very strong. They only have 40 hit points, but they have a trait, I thought, might not be visible on this screen, that makes them more evasive and harder to hit. Although if they get hit, they tend to die pretty quickly. It is just convenient to be able to just, like, summon something on the fly. The exclamation mark here is, I believe, it got the 25% discount. I think normally... Yeah, I don't know. Well, this is another level 2 spell. There you go. This level 2 skill takes 240 research. This one's only taking 180. Lightning focus is pretty good. Any battle mage unit or support unit will do bonus lightning damage and have a chance to inflict electrified, which is great. All these unit enchantment spells are fantastic. They do have an upkeep. I think it's 2 mana per unit, so it does add up. I guess I'll get the summon Lesser Storm Spirit. Then we can use it to fill in the missing gap in this army here, and I kind of like that vibe. In turn. Yeah, sure. We can do it. Just as a way to finish off the episode. Hopefully we don't embarrass ourselves here. All right. So same thing. What I'll do is I'll just let it auto this first turn, which will drop some heals, which I guess is fine. There we go, and now we'll be ready for spells. They have clustered themselves nicely. So again, we've got these 3 spells. Cosmic Ablation still the best single target spell, but Fulmination can do a little bit of splash. So we'll hit the middle. It'll hit these other 2s. 2 of them got electrified. That's good. We've got the high ground and the blinds. Good. Excellent. 1 less unit dealing damage to us this turn. Poisoning. I had regeneration. Does poison actually cancel regeneration? Or the regeneration maybe just time out. Maybe it was just 1 turn of regen, but I thought it would have been 3. Okay, that's a little tougher than I would like. I think I will drop another spell. Then they're not grouped up, so the AoE doesn't make sense. Let's drop the Cosmic Ablation on this one here. So they're resistant to the lightning part, but they're weak to the fire. It does predict how much damage they'll likely take. They both predict to take about the same amount. There you go. You got your Star Blades, another stack, and your Life Drain. There we go. So casting another spell might not have been required, but, you know, better maybe a little safer than sorry. Okay, victory done. Frost Great Axe. So that is another 2-handed weapon, but it would bring us into melee, which I don't want. It does more damage, total of 26 versus our 19, but it's 19 at range with the blinding effect. Although it does, yeah, more bonus damage. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll try to put on someone else. Oh, our hero did level again. So we do have 3 categories of skills: Warfare, Battle Magic, and Support over here for our heroes. And every 5th level, you do get a special hero skill as well. Support does have some funky, cool stuff. Experienced Leader, level up all the units in your army more quickly. Vigor is just great for flat-out hit points. But I'm going to go for this character here. I'm going to focus on the Battle Magic part of it. This character doesn't actually have Star Blades. So that's something to consider. I could get this so that Petra here will get bonus damage as I cast spells. But Channel Power, so yeah, I cast it 1 turn, and then next turn we'll do more damage. I don't know how much that appeals to me. Lightning Evocation. This gives us an ability with a 2-turn cooldown. Heals damage to target enemy unit and 2 others within 3 hexes. So it chains. It can sunder their resistance. And chance of making them electrified as well. And then there's just Magecraft, which gives us more accuracy. Also, ignoring status resistance is kind of nice, because I think, like the blind, right, it's 90% modified by the status resistance, but if I have Magecraft, it's more likely that the blind hits. And accuracy is cool. Now, sometimes Petra's going to be using her special abilities instead of attacking, so some turns this won't be as relevant. But I think it's good, because I think the Magecraft skill line actually turns out to be pretty useful to continue to move down. So we're going to do that. I don't know if that was the best pick, but it seems okay. So we'll do that. And then otherwise, do I want to set up a city on the coast here? It's still a little close to my capital. So I'm going to want to plant down an outpost in the city pretty quickly. Maybe up north. Looks like there's some nice terrain over there. And you need a hero unit to be able to plant down a city. So we're going to do that. Storehouse is done. This library is boosted because we do have a forester. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get these mines hooked up. Especially with the gold veins in those provinces. Like, any province that's got a special feature, we're going to want to hook up first regardless. So, I mean, I could build something that's not a mine because, you know, it's going to get the money anyway. But money does seem pretty good in this game based on my experiences. We could just plop down another granary over here for more food, even though we don't have the other forester. More food equals more growth. We've got the discount on the library. It's hard for me to resist this. Let's get the discounted library. We'll get more research going as quickly as we can. We'll see. So we do have access to Lightning Torrent now. Now here's an interesting thing. Even if I don't have a target for Lightning Torrent currently, I can cast it and then it'll just sit and be readied. And then I can drop it whenever I've got some group of enemies to kill. Yeah. I could have done an early raid on Molmuk because I probably don't have a lot of units currently. Especially if I'm thinking of burning them down. I mean, they're evil, right? I'll withdraw the stone. We're gonna expect, I think, to start war with these guys. Some dangerous domain over there, that's fine. All right, we'll put a cut in here. Folks, thanks a lot for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye-bye.